Hello and welcome everyone to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests, our lovely patrons, and our awesome YouTube audience to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and today I'm joined by my good friend and GVG co-founder, Ash Polson, along with our wonderful crew. We got Brandon, the Miracle Man, and Daniel Alba, not related to Jessica, though, prettier.
Oh yeah, Daniel's way prettier.
And,
oh my goodness, I wasn't ready for that.
And wouldn't you know it, being the week of Christmas, there is not a lot of news going on. Not a lot to really talk about. So we talked we talked with the patrons and we're like, what should we do? Should we just have an off day where we just mess around in Smash Brothers? But then it was like, hey, let's do a year in review again. And you know what? That's a good idea. Let's cover the year that was 2021 as we go from January to June. So we're going to be trying to get through these as fast as we can while still trying to cover it all, because that's a lot of months to cover in this amount of time. So we're going to be going at a good pace. We're going to be going fast, just like our main man Sonic. What do you have to say about that, Sonic?
Gotta go fast. Let's review the year in games, baby. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
I wasn't ready for that at all. All right, energy, go.
Thank you.
Game of the year.
On top of it.
Yeah.
Let's
go, baby.
Thank you for that, Sonic. All right, but before we get started, we do have to thank our sponsor for today. As always, we are sponsored by The Game Orb, a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While they are still running Let's Plays of Splatoon 2 and Super Mario 64 from the 3D All-Stars collection, they are also adding new games like Sonic Colors Ultimate and Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Also, there are now shorter videos in a playlist called The Game Orb Minis for clips that are highlighted. So be sure to check out the Game Orb at the link in the description, as well as I'm sure Ash is already pinning it and doing all that wonderful stuff that he does, as they're at 373 subs, only 27 away. That's crazy.
Wow.
That is really cool.
Well, the Game Orb has been supporting us from the very beginning, everybody. So if everybody watching, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I am posting links to their and Galactic Reaper's channel in the YouTube chat right now.
Yep. So,
thank you very much, Game Orb.
Yep. Thank you. And before we actually get properly started, there was one super chat from King Koopa with $2 saying, can't tune in because I'm about to go see Spider-Man. I am jealous. All three of you have seen Spider-Man. I have not.
Reason.
This sucks.
I will say nothing. Other than enjoy. Have fun.
Have a good time.
Have fun. Enjoy the
Hopefully
experience. Yep.
next week is when I get to see it. Maybe. So we'll find.
Definitely try to see it in theaters if you can, man. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It is so worth it.
I will do my best. But, yep. Well, let's go ahead and get to this year-end review. And I believe most years begin with January. So, yeah.
No.
Usually.
Yeah.
What?
Sometimes.
That's the real news today.
Really?
That's the real news.
Believe you.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And you know what? I'd say the first major game we got in January is a pretty dang good one. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, complete edition. Who knew?
Yep. And we did a stream of this. We did a team stream where we all played through together, and
in one session.
I remember the games. In one session, and the game's online was kind of broken when it first came out, but it got a lot better after a post-launch update, and it's in a good place now, I think.
Yeah, it seems fine, other than the Ubisoft locking behind the knives, chow, and some stuff behind their BS services. Yeah. Thanks, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta love that. But I mean, no, don't gotta love that. That's the whole point. But I am so glad though that this game did ultimately get re-released, because it's such a good beat 'em up in that kind of River City-esque style that was kind of locked behind rights issues there for a while and couldn't be readily accessed, and now it can again. And if you like beat 'em ups, you got to play this game. It is such a love letter, not only to old school beat 'em ups in that River City style, but also to like Scott Pilgrim in general, just classic video games in general. It's a send-up of gaming culture and pixel art and great chiptune soundtrack by Anamanaguchi. Like, it's just a great game.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, Daniel, have either of you played this? Because I know you don't. I don't think either of you play a ton of beat 'em ups.
I bought it when it first came out, but I didn't play it much. But I think the primary issue there is that I was playing it alone,
Mm.
and this is definitely a game that you want to play
Right.
with other people. So I've just kind of been saving it in my back pocket for that, which is funny because Daniel and I recently just played through River City Girls.
The inspiration. So I think if you like that,
Yeah.
you probably should like this.
Yeah, Daniel, have you played it before?
This was the first time I actually played through this game myself. I didn't hop on that the first time it was released, so I was really happy and excited to see that it finally was able to be re-released on other platforms. And yeah, I similar situation to Brandon. I only played it by myself, so I don't think I had the full experience for sure. So but fortunately, I have someone to play it with now for a future stream, maybe here or there.
Who knew?
So yeah, I'm I'm really glad that like this game could be out again for more people to play and experience, because like the art style, the music, everything about it is just so fun and charismatic, and I just love it for that.
It does a good job of that.
Same.
So
Yeah, no, it really does. I mean, it is a bit grind heavy. I will say that there's, as much as I do,
There
like
is
the
a lot
game,
of
it is a bit
grinding.
grind heavy, and it's one of those games where you kind of do. There are fast track ways to grind. There are exploits, and this is kind of one of those games where I've actually found that I have more fun abusing that exploit to level up my character super quickly, and then just playing through the game overpowered with everybody. I feel like the grinding curve is a bit off if you play it
Mhm.
as regularly intended. So if this is a game you want to
Yeah.
play, I do recommend looking into the grinding exploits that you can take advantage of, and just go God mode on it. It's a lot more fun that way, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed games like when we played River City Girls, it's a lot more. It's pretty well paced compared to some other, like when I remember playing Scott Pilgrim. It was kind of did drag on here and there, but I still had a good time with it. I do look forward to actually having that full experience with more people. So
Yeah, I mean the game
Definitely.
is 10 years old, so River City has had more time to kind of evolve since then.
yeah, definitely.
So yep.
Yeah.
Have any of us played Hitman? The Hitman series, Hitman 3 came out on January 20th.
I have.
Brandon.
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
I
wow.
did get to check out a little bit of Hitman 1, and I enjoyed that for this reboot whole session, but I've not obviously gone to 3 yet. But how is it?
So sorry if I'm still staticking. I don't know how to stop it.
We were trying.
So for those of you who don't know, you can play the levels from Hitman 1 and 2 in Hitman 3's engine if you own those games.
Oh, that's cool.
So what I've done is I have Hitman 3 on PS5 as well as Hitman 1 and 2, so I can play the whole series in Hitman 3. So I've played Hitman 3, but technically speaking, I've only played Hitman 1. But I do want to say that Hitman is really, really cool. It's basically just a series of a few stages, a few maps, really. You have a set assassination target, and the game just says go. You can basically handle it however you want to. There are recommended paths you can go down. The game will kind of funnel you into those. But if you're like me and you just want to push the guy out a window, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. It has a
because who doesn't want to do that?
It has
right?
a ton of
Who doesn't want
replayability because it'll have like challenges like, hey, do it in this way, and you can just keep trying it and get great great experiences seeing different ways to do it. I believe in the first two games they've had limited time events as well, where they have like special assassinations and you get one try to do them, and one of them was kill Sean Bean because he dies in everything.
Right, of course. Yeah. I have not ever really been a big Hitman fan myself, so I haven't played these myself, but I have been told, as Brandon said, that they are actually really good games, and that as far as Hitman goes, Hitman really rarely has been better, at least from what I've been told. And I'm super glad to hear that, because I know the series kind of went through a little bit of a lull, and it seems like it's back and better than ever, though. So
Imagine
Brandon, if you enjoyed it, it's good enough for me.
Imagine you're in a theme park, and you have all these rides you can go on, but there's no lines for anything. You can go do whatever you want. That's basically the Hitman series. You can hit things in pretty much any order that you want.
You can hit things, man.
You can use just about anything as a weapon as long as you can throw it, or
Right.
it deals some kind of damage to someone's body. Uh, God, I've never
What kind
had
of theme
some
parks are you
funnier.
going to, man? I've never been to a theme park where I could just.
I think there is a theme park thing where you could set up yourself up as a clown or something. I wouldn't
Oh, man.
surprise
Oh
me
dear.
because you can steal
But,
clothes and
yeah.
whatnot.
If you ever want a game that you can like turn your brain off to and just enjoy beating people up, as weird as that sounds, play Hitman.
It makes for a good
enough.
like challenge thing where like you're with a buddy and it's like, hey, all right, my turn to try to do this. You fail, pass the controllers. Let's see how you do, and you kind of learn off each other, try different things. It has that good pass the controller feel, I'd say.
Definitely,
Right.
it's a good game to just have people in the room with you, because you can get up to all kinds of shenanigans.
Yeah.
I do love shenanigans.
Well, how do you feel about? Oh boy. How do you feel about waifus?
I know exactly which one you're gonna.
Yep. January
Bring 'em next.
26th. Atelier Ryza 2 Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. This was sort of infamous for us, Ash, because this was when we were waiting on, I believe, I forget what the other game was, but we were waiting for something to come up. And before it happened, there was a section, it was on the GX stream. It was, yeah, that's right. It was you, me, and Steve waiting on some sort of thing happening in, I believe, was it? Asman says it was Monster Hunter. It might have been. Oh, Age of Calamity, says Brandon Bovia. We were waiting on a stream for Age of Calamity to learn more about that and see it in action. And just beforehand, we went live, and they had a thing for Atelier Ryza 2 where they had a girl in cosplay, and they were showing off her costume. We'll put it that way.
That.
And we all had a reaction.
That's
So-
funny. Well, it wouldn't have been a GX stream though, because this was January of this year.
Well, no, this was when it was coming out. In previews.
Got it. Okay, wow. I
Previews.
barely remember that. That's so funny. I remember the Age of Calamity stream, but I barely remember the other. Yeah, the Atelier Ryza 2 thing. Wow.
We got
Good-
clipped. We got clipped and pointed
Yeah.
out. It was like, these guys are like prudes or whatever. I forget how it was. Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
funny. That's us, prudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally us. Clearly. Yeah, I don't even remember that. I certainly didn't play. I only played the first Atelier game back on Atelier Iris, I think, on PS2.
Mhm.
I didn't really. It had a great soundtrack, but I didn't really stick with the series beyond that.
I've never played any of the series, but I mean, that character design honestly, obviously has people happy. I don't even know. Was this game better than the first? I have no idea.
I couldn't tell you. I know that this series continues to be very popular.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cult classic, or a cult favorite. But yeah, I like I said, I kind of dropped the series after Iris. I liked it, and it just didn't quite grab me that much.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is the one that I
Yeah.
personally haven't been able to get into myself, even though I've been recommended to it for reasons I don't know. I question that, but what kind of games I seem like I'm interested in. But yeah, I heard people say like pretty wholesome things about the series, so
That's good.
considering what's been shown in certain streams. But you know,
The funniest part of all this is to me is people calling us prudes. Because if you go back and look at all of our streams, most of our streams,
Oh yeah.
I would say they get pretty spicy. So that was an interesting
I know.
conclusion to draw for us. Yeah.
Well, how do you? I know this didn't really click with Atelier Ryza. Might not have clicked with you, Ash, but there was another game that you popped off for released on January 26th, Cyber Shadow.
I did.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Cyber Shadow. I reviewed this and I gave
You
it
got a
great
review on it.
vibes. Yeah, I really enjoyed Cyber Shadow, and this was a game that I had been really, really excited for ever since I first played it. I think PAX East 2019, maybe 2020, but I think it was at 2019. Then I played it again at 2020. But yeah, it turned out to be great. It's just a good, solid action platformer with Ninja Gaiden-esque vibes. It still very much does its own thing. What I like about it is it doesn't try to do too much. It doesn't try to innovate and do any. It's just a good 2D action platformer that kind of reminds you of Ninja Gaiden, but with its own story. Characters, great boss fights, and a killer soundtrack. Yeah, I enjoyed it. The story was a bit kind of forgettable. It didn't really do it for me on the story end, but everything else about it, I thought it was great. And it was Yacht Club's first, I think it was the first game they published, but didn't develop their own. They didn't develop it themselves. They published it. And if this is indicative of their publishing arm, then hell yeah, I can't wait to see what else they do because yeah, Cyber Shadow, great game.
Yep. I still have not checked it out. I want to, but just haven't had a chance. But I loved what I played at PAX. Loved it.
Yeah, it's definitely, as Late Night Christmas Light says in live audience, Cyber Shadow is a great game. I love it, but that game hates me. It is a toughie. That's true. This is a game that does not pull its punches. It definitely expects you to learn the boss patterns. You can't really brute force your way through, and I like that about it. But you do have to be willing to like really dig in and get good at the game, because it's not the kind of game that's super accessible if you're not really into 2D action games. It's not quite NES hard. It's not that hard, but it's not easy either.
Cool. Maybe I'll get to check it out someday. Hopefully. Maybe.
Yeah, I know that feeling. One more thing I do want to mention. Steve isn't here, so if he was here, he would talk about it. But The Medium did come out on January 28th.
I was going to bring that up.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we can't really talk that much about it because Steve played it, not us. I don't think he liked it.
He didn't get into it. I've heard some, apparently has some unfortunate depictions of, I think, mental health in it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate. Yeah.
This was back when it was a Xbox exclusive. It's out on PS5 now, but I mean, I don't think anybody... I mean, the gimmick of seeing yourself in two worlds at once was kind of cool, but I don't think it seemed to catch up onto it. But hey, as Azran points out, it is on Game Pass, so
play Hellblade instead. That's what I'll say.
There you go.
I mean, Hellblade won awards for its depiction of mental health, especially psychosis. So I had completely forgotten about The Medium and how it kind of came under fire for that. I don't know the specifics of it because I didn't play it, but that's really a damn shame if it does have problematic portrayals of mental health.
Yeah. Oh, well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for January. Not a bad month.
Do I sound like butter now?
Yes, you do, actually.
Ooh, you do. Smooth like
you
butter,
sound
man.
as sexy as Daniel looks, so kudos.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
You're not just smooth, man. You're
what does that
smooth
say
with
about
a-
how I look?
Wait a minute.
All right, I'm glad.
No.
I've been doing some fixing in the background.
Yeah, you sound way better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The only thing I would
Very
mention
nice.
really quick here is that on January 4th, Nintendo purchased Next Level Games. I had forgotten about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just Next
Good
Level
move.
right at the very beginning of the year,
Oh.
and the finalizations were done by March 1st, fiscal, of course. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened.
Nice. Yeah, it was definitely a good purchase. I appreciate it. We haven't seen any results of that, but it's nice that it's there.
And unfortunately, Vicarious Visions was merged into Blizzard on January 22nd.
Ooh.
That's not good vibes.
No.
I forgot that happened in January. Oh man, that's unfortunate.
Well, before we move on to February, we have Pirate Jake saying, "Hey guys, just wanted to highlight that 2021 was my first full year pursuing my dream of Wii game collection. After about 1.5 years of serious collecting, I am closing in on 200 games. Wish me luck." That is a lot of shovelware, my man, but there's also a lot of great games in there. If you haven't picked it up yet, Fragile Dreams, great game. Love that. I need to find it myself.
Farewell Ruins of the Moon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that you like that a lot.
Yeah, I'd love to get that back, but it's gotten a little pricey. So
Right.
Yeah. A lot of treasures in that library. Hope you got Sin and Punishment Star Successor as well.
I have that one.
Get Rhythm
All my
Heaven
friends
Fever.
hated that
Rhythm
game, and I was
Heaven
so
Fever.
mad at them.
I've not actually played through it, but
Friends
yeah.
with
They wouldn't
taste.
play it with me, and I'm like, you guys suck.
Oh yeah, Tatsunoko
I'll
versus
play
Capcom. Not played that either, but man, we
that's
had a lot
great
of great like cult classics. I think that's where it kind of stands
did.
out.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
Don't have Fragile Dreams yet, but definitely looking for it. Oh, perfect. Well, let's go ahead and continue on to February, where
It's a good month.
it's a good month, but
Oh, yeah.
it started off in a very weird way. Does anybody remember Destruction All Stars?
I played it once.
I do. I played a little bit of it. Didn't really do it for me.
I think the
bounced
game's biggest
off.
issue for me wasn't the gameplay; it's the fact that there's no music during
There
matches.
isn't?
Not?
It's
Wait,
so
really? I
didn't know
silent. Yeah, there's no music during matches.
Man, we Mario Kart
What a
64
sin.
up in here apparently. That's a known issue with if you play Mario Kart 64 in 3 or 4 player, you don't get any music. just
Yeah.
due to system limitations. But the PS5 doesn't have that excuse, so I don't. Or Lucid Games, I should say, don't have that excuse.
I assume it was an intentional choice because, like, you know, a lot of competitive or like first-person shooters won't have music during gameplay because they expect you to play your own. But I'm like, no, just give me a soundtrack. I can turn it off if I want to.
You would
And
think.
as Rob Arman Xmas points out in our live audience chat, they remember that the game was originally priced at $70, and then they dropped it to 20, and then added to PS Plus, and still no one bought it. Yeah, that's right. It originally was released as a full price game, and they couldn't even sell it at less than half that, let alone as a PS Plus title.
Nobody cared about it.
I got one of those PS5 GameStop bundles at launch because that was the only way I could get one. Thankfully, it came with Spider-Man, so like it didn't hurt that bad. But the other game it came with was Destruction All-Stars. And because that game ended up getting delayed, they just gave me my money back.
Oh,
I'm like,
sweet.
great.
You got the best deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not upset over that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Now,
thanks, Destruction All-Stars.
Yeah.
The other game that came out on the 2nd is Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, which you weren't quite feeling, Ash, because you loved Ys 8.
Loved it.
You did.
And to be fair, I didn't play East. I played the demo, and I wasn't really feeling the demo. I have been told by people who played the full game that it actually is pretty great and that I should play it. I'd love to if I have the time, because as I said, I loved Ys 8, reviewed it for GX, adored it. But I just didn't like the world design in Ys 9. So many browns and dark, garish colors, as opposed to Ys 8, which took place on a deserted island, having all these beautiful, lush, vibrant nature colors. Ys 9 was very gothic and very, like, there's a lot of verticality in the art and the world design and the architecture. Nothing wrong with that, but just the world didn't pull me in the way Ys 8 did. But the gameplay still felt pretty good from what I remember of the demo. I just didn't really, visually, I wasn't as pulled into it, I guess. But, you know, a game isn't all about its visuals. And this is one of those games where straight up, if I had 40 hours to spare, this would be pretty high on the list of games I'd like to go back and play. Because it's Ys. I like Ys. And, you know, Falcom's music group, you know the soundtrack's amazing. So I want to play it, but didn't have time.
Yep, that sounds about right. I know there's a lot of hype around in this game. I've not played it myself, but has any of us played Little Nightmares 2, released February 11th?
I have. I played it back to back with the original because I think I got them both on sale, so I just played them together. It's a great game. It's beautiful. It's creepy. The level design is interesting. Like, it has that kind of like shoebox diorama kind of feel to it.
Oh, cool.
And if you're interested in the lore of Little Nightmares, it does a lot of interesting stuff with that, specifically in 2.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd recommend it. It's short,
Nice.
though. Just know that.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected.
I've heard a lot of love for that game in general, Little Nightmares 2. Like, I've heard a lot of good, just love for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was definitely recommended to me a lot. Like, if I had beaten Luigi's Mansion faster when I was doing it my Halloween streams, Little Nightmares was the next on the docket that people wanted to see me play. So it definitely has some love around it too. So cool stuff. But it might have gotten overshadowed a bit by the thing that was released the next day on February 12th. I'm, of course, talking about Galgon Returns. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Galgon.
That's Super Mario 3D World. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. That's right. That's the bigger game there.
That's my birthday game.
Right.
Came out
Yeah.
on my birthday.
Hey.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Right.
Happy birthday to you. Of course, a Mario game came out on Brandon Miracle's birthday.
Of course.
I felt blessed.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you so much.
This is a good re-release. Bowser's Fury provided a nice potential blueprint for where 3D Mario could go in the future. It definitely, for me, it never got out of feeling like a proof of concept. It didn't feel like a fully fleshed out thing. Even in the final game, it didn't feel fully fleshed out. But I liked it as a proof of concept. It also had killer music, which is no surprise. It's Mario. But it was a nice, I would almost call it a distraction. Like, it wasn't a full game, but it was a nice distraction. It was fun to, explore. And then, then of course you have 3D World, which was this was a great reminder for me that 3D World is really damn good. And in my opinion, kind of underrated. It is one of my favorite 3D Mario games. And I felt that way back on the Wii U, but I kind of think I just forgot for some reason. So I had a great time replaying this and rediscovering my love for 3D World. I know it's not for everybody. It is very Mario 3-esque. You have a beginning and an end. You have to get to the goal. It's not explorative like Odyssey, but that's okay. It's more focused than Odyssey, and that is a different kind of enjoyment.
It's the last time we got that kind of Super Mario Galaxy / Galaxy 2 style level design from the Mario team. Because Odyssey obviously went in a very different direction. It did include levels like that, but they were not nearly as abundant. And I found over the course of the last few years that for me personally, I think I might like that more. And it was hard to come to terms with that because I was so excited for Odyssey, and I loved Odyssey, and don't get me wrong, but there's something about that just tight, focused level design that the Mario team can deliver that I just find so good.
It might have been diluted a little bit, but because of the new Super Mario Brothers series, where you just sort of forgot that they were capable of that. But the more linear design, I can kind of see when they have those platforming challenges, it really does do a lot. And the 3D World is absolutely fantastic when played in multiplayer. Trolling one another, helping each other, however you play together, it accommodates and is a great time. I did not.
The online sucked though.
Yeah, the online did kind of suck. That is
tried
a
to play with our very good friend John Cartwright actually, and it was Cat and John Cartwright, and it just was
did not go well.
That's too far for Nintendo Internet.
Yeah.
I can go so far.
I unfortunately did not get to play the entirety of Bowser's Fury. I did get to play a portion, but this was I think Kai was 3 months old at this point, so I got to play a little bit while holding him, but it's not exactly the easiest thing. So I missed quite a few games around this time. I enjoyed what I played, but I also everybody's kind of problems with it. I could already see within the first 2 islands. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. It's a little limited in it definitely proof of concept. The way Bowser is handled is kind of a pain. How he, you need him to stick around for certain things, but he goes away every time you get one. So there's a lot of waiting around. It's like, I see.
Before launch, I called it was on a timer. By the way,
I can't remember. I know I did an analysis, but I can't remember how accurate I was.
That was one thing I suggested to you, but I don't think we agreed on it before. Before we uploaded it.
Brandon calling Derek out. I love it.
No, I'm just saying. That's a point for me.
I'm just.
It is.
I think I called the fact that it would expand and whatnot, or that the lighthouses. Something about the lighthouses. I know I got a few things. Things down.
You were pretty on point, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Just I had to get my one thing.
My moment.
No, it's my credit. No.
But it'll be interesting to see if we see any elements of Bowser's Fury in the next mainline 3D Mario game. Was it just a one-time proof of concept, or are they going to carry some of what they did in that game forward into whatever's next, whether there's Odyssey 2 or whatever they're doing next? But in general, I think it was a good package, and I really enjoyed not only exploring this new little side thing, but also replaying and 100%ing 3D World again, because man, I love the difficulty curve in that game. It is such a good adventure from start to finish, as opposed to something like Odyssey, where, man, I love the main campaign, but the post-game fell so flat for me. And for me, it's just 3D World is all killer, no filler, baby. I really love this game. Really love it.
Yeah, I think it's even in the game itself, everyone will definitely see something like this again in the future. Like even within Mario 3D World itself, proof of concept for Captain Toad became its own game within this. It was a proof of concept within this game in the first place.
That's true.
And
that's true.
And just having that 3D world, but like half Odyssey, half like 3D world feeling within Bowser's Fury. It was refreshing for what the moment was. I think a lot of it was just like in the moment a spectacle, like just going kaiju giant Super Saiyan Cat Mario versus Fury Bowser. This game gave us Godslayer Bowser, and I'll always appreciate the game for giving us that magnificent that spectacle of what we see there. But
I don't care if that's not a real name. He's Godslayer Bowser forever to me. I
don't care either. That's who he is in my heart.
Exactly.
Ultimately, I know a lot of people were disappointed in the overall scope of Bowser's Fury. But for me personally, I think it was just as long and as, large as it needed to be. Because if it had gotten any bigger, then it would be competing with its other half.
Fair.
And we all see that it's laying the groundwork for something new. And I'd rather them put their efforts into that than all of it into something like Bowser's Fury.
Right.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah. And I really just
By the way, that's totally going out of context, Brandon.
I already see it in the chat.
Yeah,
I knew it as I
exactly.
was saying it. I was
It
trying
happened.
to find a way around it, but it just wasn't happening.
No, sometimes you're just
There's
stuck.
No way around the spicy. You go straight through the spicy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
really
I
just-
wear the spicy.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right.
And I really appreciate the game. I didn't even talk about 3D World itself. I really just appreciate the things that it did for improvements, quality of life. Just making the characters faster made this game so much more playable for me, for people that I play with, whether it was online or on couch co-op. Just really helps accentuate the fact that this is really tightly packed game and world. And even if at some points the game wasn't designed for such speed, which is pretty funny, like the one where you're chasing the flagpole that runs away, you can just clear that in like 10 seconds now with Toad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the other thing I forgot that 3D World did. It increased the game speed by like 30%, and it made it so much better. It made an already great game even better. That was so the right move, increasing the game speed just across the board. Really loved that change.
I also liked the addition of the Odyssey dive. As small as of a move it is,
Right.
it can get you places you couldn't get before, and I like that.
Yeah. It's a good port. It's a good port with a fun little extra mode. Really solid. But I'll admit, I was a bit more excited for the next game that came out than I think is worth mentioning. February 23rd, Persona 5 Strikers.
Oh boy,
I've
I sure love playing Persona 2 when I can't play Persona 1 on the Switch, right?
Yeah.
5 too, Persona
That's
1
see,
too.
nothing like not knowing what's going on when you get to it. But yeah, this is one of the first games I got to play on my PS5 and got to see the advantage of the SSD for this sort of thing. And
nice.
This is the game I made a point to try to get a review in, despite taking care of Kai and whatnot. Somehow managed it, because that is not a short game. That is a full-on 40-hour action RPG, really. And I think that's what's great, is that the game does work as a sequel, though I think it's more a sequel in the vein of movie follow-up, what's the best way? The way I think the Ash would understand is kind of like Conqueror of Shambhala.
Yeah, I was going to say that, or even the FMA Brotherhood movie they did, or maybe even like the Cowboy Bebop movie. It feels like an episode, like an extended episode.
You get more of these characters. It's
OVA.
great, but it's also not the stakes aren't
It doesn't
quite
advance
there.
the plot in a meaningful way as much, I guess.
It's a good way to see how the characters have evolved. Since their experiences in the original, which is still great. You get that character interaction. There's some great moments. So Sophie is a fantastic new character. There is some really good stuff in there. Oh, Shambhala is the Brotherhood movie. I forget the other one.
It's not, though.
I thought I forget what the
Shambhala is the OG FMA movie.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was right.
Yeah.
I completely
I got to
forgot.
push back on that one,
Stars,
Hustle. I'm
isn't it?
sorry, but
Yeah.
but no, the Brotherhood movie was literally like an extended episode of the anime, whereas Conqueror Shambhala was like a proper alternate ending to the series.
It was an ending, yeah.
Yeah, definitely an ending.
Yeah.
Cleared up some things. But yeah,
Star of Milos might be. Yeah, I think that's
it. Star of Milos.
I knew it was Star something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the crazy thing for me with Persona 5 Strikers is that it doesn't feel like a Dynasty Warriors game most of the time. I'd say 85% of the time it's more of an action RPG just in the Persona style, and it completely works. I love it for that. But when you do get those moments where it does become more Dynasty Warriors, like it feels cathartic in nature. Just like now the characters are opening up because they mention it's like, all right, let's go all out. And I don't know, I had a really good time with it. It was really fun.
This is really a genuine
Nice.
like entry in a Persona game because like other Persona, like people think of Persona spin-offs, still think of like Persona 4 Arena or the dancing games. This one really, I think it actually did a lot to flesh out the characters that are here, and actually all the characters are here from the beginning. You don't have to go through the whole story and just slowly collect everybody and complain that Haru is only there for 1/8 of the game, like she is in the in the base game. But just seeing the characters get fleshed out more. Um, this was like this was for those who played the game. You're essentially traveling around Japan, and like this was the road trip that I needed while we were in all stuck at home,
Yeah.
just to go around with friends that you
Uh-huh.
know that you're well acquainted with, and just having a good time. Just all the wholesome like slice of life moments where you go eat places or hang out, mixed in with the the actual Muso aspect of it for the story, because it's all very Atlas and everybody, they really integrated and infused the DNA of Persona in this very well, and I appreciate for that, down to the very like stylized menus that the base game is known for. And yeah, characters like Sophie, Zenkichi is a very I love Zenkichi as well in this game. I'm starting to relate to him too much as the old man character, the one that's if you're over 30 years old, you're just the old man
Yeah.
of the party.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
But man, that's
That drives me crazy. The whole like Raven and in Tales of Vesperia. It's
Vesperia.
like he's what 30? What is he like 35 or something?
yeah,
Well,
he
And
calls
he's like a
himself an old
washed up
man.
old man
Well,
gambler. It's so stupid.
That's like
Yeah.
Gumshoe
running
in
gag.
Ace Attorney, where you think he's like
Right.
40 or something. Like, no, he's just like what 30,
Oh,
32 or
younger
something
than
like
I am
that.
or something
Yeah.
at this point.
Never forget. According to Miyamoto, Mario's 24.
It's,
Yeah.
Older than Mario.
That scares me.
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is I kind of forgot that this game came out this year. I really enjoy playing this game, but man, I feel like I understood the combat the least of any Musou game I've ever played as well.
Oh,
Like
really?
I didn't really catch on to all the mechanics as I was playing, I think. I don't know. I think the structure of Musou kind of faded away a little bit too much in certain parts, in some aspects, but being more of a Persona fan, that's something that I was fine with me. For other people, maybe not so much, but yeah, just a great entry in the series, and just a really fun way to experience more of the characters that you love.
Mhm. I do wish it had gotten some DLC so we get like at least Kasumi from Royal, or
Yeah,
would have been fun to
catchy,
get like some,
even though it didn't make sense.
yeah, just like
Right.
some of the bonus characters that Dynasty's Warriors spinoffs are known for. So
Yeah, there was like, I think before the game came out, one of the locations that people saw, they were like convinced that it was Inaba from Persona 4, and if people like could explore an area of that as like DLC that's not tied to the story, that would have been really cool. Or more characters. Yeah, there's more Persona users as this style, but it was technically the smallest roster of Musou's ever seen. And
yeah, I wouldn't mind a non-canon sequel that brings in more of the Persona characters.
Yeah, they did that with Arena, Persona 4 Arena. They brought in like the entire
true, with
P3
Ultimax.
cast.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
get to see him aged up as well. That's
Yeah,
Insane.
really cool.
But, well, let's continue on. Strikers was fun. And another surprise release that was fun. I didn't get a chance to play it myself, but I heard good things. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Did any of us try it out?
Yeah.
Oh,
I did. Initially, I only got this on my system to get the Arthur Spirit and Smash Brothers
Oh my
Ultimate.
god, of
'cause
course.
oh my gosh.
I didn't buy it for that reason. Fortunately, we all share each other's accounts, so like I was able to get it, just have the save data on my system and not, pay for a spirit. I wouldn't have done that. But I did need to get the Smash Ultimate Spirit. You know what? This is gonna ruffle some feathers. Obviously, I'm the Mega Man guy. I love, I'm the Sonic. I'm the 2D platformer guy, but I've never been a big Ghosts and Goblins fan. I respect it, and I understand how tremendously influential it is, and I get why people love it. It just has never been for me as much. So I did play Resurrection, and I had an okay time with it, but I dropped it pretty quickly. I just don't really like Ghosts and Goblins mechanics as much. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. But I think as an authentic Ghosts and Goblins revival, resurrection, as it were, I think it's great. I think it plays like a great modern Ghosts and Goblins games that doesn't do too much to make it feel different from the classic games. It's just a new Ghosts and Goblins game in 2021, kind of like what Mega Man 11 was for Mega Man it didn't do too much that was like new and crazy. It's just a damn good Mega Man game in 2021 with modern visuals. And so I liked it, but it's just not Ghosts and Goblins as a franchise just isn't my thing as much.
Yeah, that sounds fair. I've only played the SNES version and beat it, but so I was kind of curious about it, but I art style did kind of throw me off. I was like, I know they say it looks good in motion, but it just seeing even trailers, just like, I don't know. It just didn't look great. I don't know why.
Mega Man 11 definitely seemed like it had a much bigger budget visually, for the visuals.
Oh yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
You were gonna say something, Brandon?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh no, I just said the art style was a choice.
Oh yeah, that is true. You know what else was a choice? Some of the changes made on the game that released on February 26th, Bravely Default 2, a game that I think broke Ash's heart a little.
It did. Look, Bravely Default 2 is not a bad game, but I dropped it because it's just it felt like such a step back from Bravely Second in so many ways. And I've said this before, so I won't go on too long about this, but like Bravely Second's director apologized for how that game turned out, but I don't know why, because it was amazing compared to Bravely Default 2, which is just, it's fine. It feels, like an old school Final Fantasy-esque JRPG, and I'm glad this series still exists, but it felt like such an obvious and willing step back from Bravely Second in terms of player accessibility. I love the way Second let you tweak the experience to your liking. You can grind as easily as you want. You can turn up battle speed, and you can have faster battles in this too. But in Second, you can chain battles together for bonus experience. In this game, you need a special item to do that. It just felt like a step back. That said, the soundtrack is still killer. Revo came back to do the music, and it might have my favorite soundtrack of the year. But just the story, the characters, the gameplay, all just felt like such a major step back for me compared to Bravely Second and the first Bravely Default. And it just straight up let me down. Not a bad game, but it let me down across the board, except for the music.
Fair enough. I mean, I did not have time to pick it up, so I've completely missed it. But I've also missed every single Bravely Default game at this point, so
right.
Someday.
Same here.
Eddie B says, what happens when you're a JRPG protagonist who can't make the monthly loan payment? You bravely default. That's
oh no.
I see you.
That is pretty good.
One. Yeah. But it just didn't do it for me. And I dropped it maybe a little less than halfway through. The story didn't grab me. The characters weren't as interesting, especially compared to the cast of the first two games. So yeah, I we'll see what happens with the next installment, but I felt like it was disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these lukewarm reception to Bravely Default 2 was pretty much why I hadn't picked that one up. I played the first game. I played all the way through that one, which was a fine game, except for that one part that wouldn't stop.
I hear that a lot. I don't know exactly what that part is, but apparently it's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I had to stop for a long time until I forced myself to power through it, but
it's a game that, on principle, I'd like to go back to and see through because it's good, but the different difficulty settings I come to find out don't really affect much of anything other than how many turns the enemy gets each round compared to your own turns. It doesn't change HP amount. It doesn't change damage output. So even playing the game on easy, it isn't really that much easier, and the game requires so much grinding. It's just, the balance didn't land for me at all.
That's the gate that keeps Brandon away. When you say, there's too much level grinding, no, that's not for me.
I hear you, man.
You know what I'd like to see? A re-release of Final Fantasy the Four Warriors of Light, because that was sort of proto Bravely Default. And
that would be cool.
Be curious to check that one out. I know it's probably basic as all get out, but oh well.
I just hope we get a Bravely Third someday, like a proper Bravely Third that follows up on the story, because Second ends on a huge cliffhanger, and it still bothers me. But we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Right.
I'll fight you, Rob. Monster Hunter grinding is different.
The grind.
Oh,
the grind is the game.
There you go.
Really quick, as a big chuckle, February 1st, Google shut down their internal Stadia game studio and just refocused as a publisher of third-party games. But that happened early in the year too.
Yeah,
and nobody was surprised.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I looked surprised.
Before we move over to March, we did get a $5 super chat from Dislike Counter saying, does it blow anyone else's mind it's almost 5 years in of Switch and we don't have one arena shooter game on Switch? Doom 2016, but no one was ever on. Well,
true.
I guess.
What about Fortnite? Doesn't that count?
I don't know.
Does Splatoon count? I feel like Fortnite at least does.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that genre too often. So
Same. Yeah.
So I guess that's why it doesn't blow my mind. Then we got Late Night Sprites with $2 super chat saying we need to be Sojiro in daytime outfit for strikers. That'd be pretty fun. Sojiro is a playable character.
That man can rock pink.
Yeah, he can.
Nice.
Yeah, he can.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your generosity.
Mm-hmm. And then Storysmith with $9.99 super chat saying, yo, Derek, will your personal channel be okay covering One Piece like you planned, considering what just happened a month back to another YouTuber? Don't want your channel to disappear. Difference between that, for those asking, I'm going to be starting a One Piece podcast. I'm going to keep it very brief, but I'm going to be starting a One Piece podcast on my personal channel in January. It should be fine. It is audio only. That's it. There's literally the first page, like the chapter page, is like the title page, and that'll be it. So I'm not too concerned. Anyway,
with that said, go support Totally Not Mark.
Oh yeah,
it's not fair.
Yeah, Totally Not Mark. That was totally not fair, as you said.
There you go.
All the best to them. But let's go ahead and get into March. And honestly, looking through this list, there's some good stuff, but it's mostly re-releases from last year. I guess there's Nausea, but I don't think Ash checked that one out because of the fact that it was basically single player Among Us, and he's not a fan of Among Us in the first place. I heard decent things about it, but I didn't check it out too much. And then there was Loop Hero, which came out the same day. Again, heard great things, not really tried it, but I'd say the first big game that came out in March was Crash Bandicoot 4.
What was that?
Excuse me. Crash Bandicoot 4 on March 12th.
That was for PS5 and Xbox Series X, though. That
was it was the year before. Oh my God, it is just re-release after re-release after
Same
re-release.
thing with Yakuza Like a Dragon. That came out on PS5 at the very beginning of the March 2nd.
Samurai Showdown coming to Xbox. Where is the first original game for this month? Holy crap.
If anything, I would say March is kind of, unfortunately, this year is kind of defined by what games didn't deliver. And I'm, really thinking about Marvel's Avengers and then later on Balan Wonderworld.
Oh boy.
Because Marvel's Avengers came out on the 18th. Oh wait,
that was the previous year. Again, that's a re-release.
Yeah, again, that's so funny. So
Balan Wonderworld. Oh my God.
On Windows.
Balan Wonderworld is the March game.
Clutch.
Holy crap.
Well, actually, after this, It Takes Two came out.
Okay.
Actually, on the same
day.
The
26th is when March came alive, because before that, there was basically re-releases. Holy crap.
Right. Balan Wonderworld. What can I say? I initially planned to review that, and then my day job kicked my ass, and I just couldn't get it together. But I did play and beat that game, and it was an experience, I can tell you that. Look, I've said this before. It's obviously a bad game. There's no doubt about that. But it has a very specific Saturn-esque authenticity to it. It feels like you're playing a Saturn game in 2021, a janky Saturn game, but a Saturn game. And I like that. I like that it has that Saturn feel. And I maintain that some of the soundtrack is fantastic. Chapter 4 of that game is one of my favorite songs of this whole year. Really great. Reminds me of Klonoa. That's always a good thing. But yeah, the game sucks. Straight up. There's no the game still sucks.
Yeah.
And the budget went entirely to those opening cutscenes, I swear, because those look fantastic.
They do.
Nice.
And there's variations depending on your character's race. That's amazing.
Right. And yeah, I mean the CG stuff is so well produced. It's so weird, that whole game's development. You got to check out Matt McMuscles' video on it, because he goes into it and breaks it down with way more time and specificity than we have to here. But Balan Wonderworld was a thing. It happened. It's a shame it turned out the way it did, but it did have a couple of redeeming qualities if you're in the mood for something quirky, as long as you know you're getting into what's not a very good polished game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, March 26th. Holy crap. Yeah, we got Balan Wonderworld, but it was also the release of It Takes Two, which I believe some of us have played.
I want to play this.
Game of the year.
Yeah, Game of the Year.
Yeah.
As much as people joke about that, I'd be willing to give it that. It is that good.
I want to check it out.
I think that's
Me
a
too.
game you and Amy should play together. I think you
I
would really
want to
enjoy
with
that.
her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
You two should.
I think it's been brought up. I don't know if that's. I don't know when we'll get to that, but I do know we've thought about it. Playing it.
The
together.
overall subject matter is kind of heavy, but in context, it's pretty lighthearted. But I just like the way that the game kind of evolves on the concept presented in A Way Out. You know, the simultaneous multiplayer. But it's interesting because like when you go from, I guess you could call them chapters. When you go from chapter to chapter, like the abilities that you have available to you change just based on what you're doing in that area of the story. But your ability is always reliant on your partner's ability. So like in one, for instance, one character might have the ability to throw, or here, this is a better example. One might have the ability to shoot honey out of a gun, and then the other person can set fire to the honey. But the honey is basically useless if it doesn't explode, and you can't explode it without your partner. And then your partner has this fire attack that is basically useless if there isn't something to blow up.
Very
so there's
symbiotic
that-
relationship.
Exactly. There's that kind of dynamic throughout the entirety of the game. And there's a lot of variety in the gameplay. There's even literally a a 1v1 side-scrolling fight segment, like Street Fighter style, against a squirrel.
Oh my god!
It's really, really amazing. So yeah, just a lot of variety. Very, very good story. Great characters. And not that long of an experience. I'd say somewhere between the realm of 10, 15 hours.
Okay.
But
Okay.
definitely one of the coolest co-op experiences you'll ever have.
I
I
said,
really want to play with my wife.
yeah. Eventually want to play with Amy, but just haven't gotten to that point. So, but you know, there was another game that came out on the 26th that I think Brandon really enjoyed. I don't know. Did it rise to the occasion?
Gamers.
Did it rise to
You're
the
right.
occasion, Brandon? Monster Hunter Rise.
Caves in the Wild Mask is an amazing game.
No, I've heard good things
I've
about
actually
Caves in
heard
the Wild
it.
Mass, which was an
Same.
indie that came out that same day as well. Yes.
I played through about half of that game. It is good. If you like Donkey Kong Country, you'll like this game. That said, Monster Hunter Rise, boy, you ever put 200 hours into a game in one or 2 weeks? Because
No.
your boy,
It's been a while.
But I've heard stories.
Monster Hunter is my favorite multiplayer experience that I've ever had. So you just grab a couple friends, you hop into a hunt. If somebody needs parts from a certain monster, you all join up and help each other out, and it's a good hangout game. Monster Hunter Rise is the most accessible the series has ever been. Yeah, it's just good. I don't know how much more I can say. I love Monster Hunter. Go watch my review. If
Yeah,
you wanna hear
exactly.
me
You
talk
reviewed
about
it for
Hell
us,
yeah.
so check it
Actual
out.
review,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't Steve? He's unfortunately not here to talk about it, but didn't Steve really like Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit, and Wonder Lab?
Yes, but that technically came out. He reviewed it last year.
Oh, did he? My
whatever-
bad. Okay.
Yeah, so that's when that review came out. That's now
Just skip
available
over
on
Tony Hawk.
that was PS5 and Xbox Series
That was
X.
the
Again,
re-release.
previous year.
That also was the
March was
Oh
the
my
month
God.
of re-releases on other
Exactly.
consoles.
Real
However,
wrestling.
Derek, I hate to say it, man, but I got to call you out. There is one thing you're forgetting that happened early in March, on March 4th, that you specifically were really happy about as a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 fan. Do you know what that is?
Oh, was that Pyra Mithra?
Yeah, Pyra
Yeah.
and Myth were released on March 4th for Smash Brothers Ultimate. They
Nice.
were Fighters Pass 10 and the third to last DLC character. And so, we all obviously love Smash here. We're known for our Smash coverage, so I think it's important to call those out, those releases out as well. But yeah, Pyra and Mithra came out along with the Cloud Sea of Allrest stage. And in some ways, Pyra and Mithra were this game's Bayonetta for a little bit. Nowhere near as overwhelmingly powerful as Bayonetta was in Smash 4, but I think generally people, they're pretty top tier, safely considered top tier. And they're
I
still
enjoy
great
them.
in the current meta in 13.0.1. They've gotten a couple of nerfs, especially Pyra's side beat, but they're still really strong characters.
Nice. Yeah, it's cool that they made it in there. That was a very good day for me.
Yeah.
Because that was always
yeah.
one of my hopes. It's like I always saying Rex and Pyra, but hey, Mithra Pyra, just as good.
Right. Also, hashtag
Yes.
Team Pyra. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Oh no,
Oh no.
I chose
One
Mithra.
thing, I know, right? One thing I was going to say, speaking of fighting games too, March 18th, this was the month that Sony and Endeavor announced that they had jointly acquired Evo. So that
Oh,
was
right.
when Evo came under new ownership.
Oh, that's right.
Second half of March.
We'll see how that plays out. I think this year or this coming year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
fine. Yeah,
But,
we'll see.
That's pretty much everything for March, I think.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump over to April. But before that, we did get a few super chats, a few more super chats. First from Claxon with $4.99. Thank you very much. Saying, I'm 99% sure they also apologized for Bravely Second at some point after announcing Default 2. Then people said, no, we like Bravely Second. So
That's kind of what happened. Yeah, it's really weird how that all went down, but Bravely Second deserves so much more love than it got internally. And it's such a shame.
Mm-hmm. And Black Ninja with a $5 super chat, pulling a game out of nowhere. My
Right?
question is, where is Conduit 3 and Conduit 1 and 2 remastered?
Wow.
Those
Where
Wii
indeed?
FPSs that nobody really thinks about anymore, except apparently Black Ninja.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your generous super chats.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I completely. Yeah, Conduit 3, you might be waiting for a little while, and by a little while, I mean maybe forever.
Yeah, probably forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move over to April. Take a look what we got that month. And hey, Oddworld fans were happy because on April 6th, they got Soulstorm, which the third game in the Oddworld trilogy. When I remember back when these Oddworld games were coming out, they were saying how they wanted it in a, what is it, quintology, a 5-game arc. And I just still don't think they've done all that. I think this is game 3 or 4 in the arc, with all kinds of spinoffs. But
Okay.
I don't know. Does anybody actually play Oddworld? Because I've never really gotten it.
No.
I
Same.
got it
not.
for free and never launched it.
It's
Yeah.
it's always been too hard for me. It frustrates me that I can't save everybody unless you're really good and replaying other things,
Right.
and finding all of them is a pain. And just, it was so easy to die.
Nobody
Yeah.
likes watching their Pikmin die.
No, especially when they
Never.
blow in the chunks of bone and viscera. So
Oh God.
yeah,
No
I-
thanks.
I've never gotten an Oddworld myself, just in general, so Soulstorm kind of passed me by.
yeah, I am very curious. Hey, it's Dingo. And Kadikarus, former guest, obviously loves Oddworld, but I never saw his thoughts on Soulstorm. So I'm not sure. I don't know how it hit with fans. Honestly, don't.
Yeah, it seemed like the chatter around this game died kind of quickly. I don't really follow Oddworld myself, so I can't speak with much authority on it, but it didn't seem like it was talked about very long after its release. But I
Yeah.
didn't hear bad things about it either.
No, it just sort of came and went. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next day, we had our Mario 35 replacement, Pac-Man 99.
Mario died
not
and
a-
Pac-Man took over.
It is
Oh
not a
yeah.
replacement. It is not a
Yeah.
replacement. Like
It is not,
like Mario
because
35 left a hole in my heart this big, and Pac-Man 99 fills like this much of it, just the tiniest bit. It's not the same. I miss Mario 35. Pac-Man 99's okay, but I dropped it kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really stick with it. I played it a little bit. It's like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
I like
whereas,
Pac-Man enough, but I would rather just play Pac-Man personally.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is, yeah, it's like why there's Pac-Man Championship Edition 2, which I think is an incredible game, and if I ever want a dose of Pac-Man, I'm always going to go to that before Pac-Man 99, which just feels slower and less engaging by comparison. But I also really love Championship Edition 2, so that's probably just bias speaking on my part. But it's fine. But like I would play Mario 35 at one game of it every day if I could, and I often did. But Pac-Man 99, I played. I did a launch live stream of it actually for us. I played it a couple of days after that, and then I was done.
Yeah.
I love Pac-Man. I play this for a while. I have like last time I checked, maybe like 15 or so where you're the Pac one, where you win those actual matches. And yeah, over time I just realized I would play I would rather play Tetris 99 or Mario 35 more than I would play this game. Like I still wonder why Mario had to die just because of this, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I enjoy the game. I enjoy the game well enough. I enjoy the concept of what they did. But yeah, there's just something about Tetris 99 and Mario 35 that is a lot more lasting appeal than this game does, unfortunately.
I hope Mario comes
Yeah.
back with the rest of his 2D outings. Just I want all of them in one
Same.
Mario 35 package.
Same. I
Yeah.
hope they bring that concept back. Period. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand what purpose canceling that game service served. I really don't. Get
Breath
it, but-
of the Wild 35.
Oh man.
What in the world?
Wow, that'd be something.
The Fa 54 and AJ Red 20 mentioning Galaga 99 in our YouTube chat. That could be really fun. Like
Yeah.
imagine something
Yeah.
that looks a little bit
I-
like Space Invaders Infinity Gene, but like was the 35 or
Ooh.
99 player.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So
A shooter,
that could
like
be
top-down
really
shooter,
cool.
that would be pretty cool. I could see that working.
Yeah.
Hell, just give me Space Invaders. That'd
I
be
mean-
sick.
No, yeah,
That would be
that's
cool,
true.
right? Yeah.
Might end up
Um,
becoming like just bullet hell Galaga with like you shoot enemies, you shoot them down, you shoot down the boss Galagas, and then they go to whoever you're targeting, a la like the typical 99 style, and just other
Yeah.
chaos is wave after wave come after you. That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, that
That'd
would
be
be
wild.
really cool. And Bolt Mouse X, yeah, what about Mega Man 35? That's the obvious one for me, of course, but hey, talk to Capcom. It's Mega Man's 35th anniversary next year, so ball's in their court, man.
Yep. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I don't follow the series too closely, and I don't think any of us have anything to say about it. But I believe on April 9th, Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4 released, which
Right.
cool for fans of that. I think it finished that whole story arc. I don't know anything about it, but I, just want to highlight that, hey, that did come out. Good for those
Right.
I
Fans?
know the lead is voiced by Sean Chiplock, who I used to play
Oh.
Smash with like 10-ish years ago.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
Eh.
voice actor. Yeah, this game is
also
this is a-
Rivali.
This is a series that I want to get into. Like, I there's a
Yeah.
length to this series. There's I kind of try to do this yearly with a series now. Like this year was Danganronpa. I went through that whole series. Hopefully, this next coming year I could do
Set aside
yeah.
some time,
Legend of Heroes,
from what I
if
understand.
can. Oh yeah, definitely. I need to like find an actual like recommended like order to play these games as
there's
well.
a trilogy, and then there's this whatever 4-part is with this quadrilogy.
Mhm.
So there's like
Yeah.
7 games, plus there's some mid-quels in there that are getting translated right now and will come out in the next few years. So yeah, there's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Also, apparently Saga fans eating well, because last year they got a collection of Saga, and then they got Saga Frontier Remastered on April 15th. I don't
Right,
play
which
Saga
makes-
games, but good for them.
Yeah, the Saga
Mm-hmm.
series has kind of been experiencing something of a renaissance of late, and I'm really happy to see it. I'm not a big Saga guy myself either, but it's just nice to know that one of Square's more relatively unpopular series, more niche series, can get as much love as it can get. And if that can happen to Saga, maybe it can happen to Chrono. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe one
who would
day.
think?
But yeah, I heard good things about Saga Frontier Remastered, and one of the coolest things about it was that they restored I think it was a 7th quest. Like
Right.
in the original, there were 6 playable characters, each with their own quests, but there was a 7th one that was cut from the game before release, and they restored that for Saga
Wow.
Frontier Remastered, which is really,
Uh,
really neat. I love when stuff like that happens.
So cool when they go back and
Yeah.
they fulfill that portion that they couldn't get on the original deadline. That's so
Yeah.
great.
It's so rare to see that happen, and it's feels good. I want to check out Saga at some point, but again, it's just like, boy, there's a lot of RPGs for me to play, and that's terrifying.
A lot of time sinks.
Yeah, really is. I'd say speaking of RPGs, I'd say the next big game to release was on April 23rd. Another game I reviewed, Near Replicant version 1.22474871139 --. Basically, I think it's like a fancy way of saying 2.5 or 1.5.
Right. This
So-
is one of my biggest regrets of the gaming year, not having had a chance to play Replicant, because everyone knows
It's
I
good.
adored Nier Automata, and
I missed it too.
I want to play. I like Automata kind of references some of the stuff and concepts from the first game, but I want to play it. I want to experience it firsthand, and it's just one of those games I didn't get a chance to play due to time. But this is like near the top of my list in terms of games I want to go back and
Near
play.
the top of your list.
Near the top of my list, yeah. Because I love the aesthetics of Nier. I like the story. I just like the vibe of it. And Derek, you really enjoyed it, and that's enough for me. And I just really wish I'd played this.
It does feel like the definitive version to play. Like, I do miss my old man Nier. That was the
Nier.
Yeah, the dad Nier. And his ugly as sin look, but I don't know. I think it fits better to have him as a father than a brother. I think it just hits better. But it changes. It's like certain relationships work better as father, other relationships work better as brother. So it's not really a ideal way to do that. But Replicant is the best version, just because the gameplay has been improved somewhat. There's got a whole new ending that to enjoy, and they brought back all the actors to re-record all their lines, plus got brand new actors for Brother Nier. There's a lot of effort put into this, and it's a great game. I still have not played Automata, but the original is well worth playing. It hits you as you see things from alternate perspectives with each new ending.
Yeah,
that's cool. I really want to play this.
Yeah, this game is. I never played the original, of course, because it was a bit before I got into this whole series. But yeah, playing this game, the whole title is like the square root of 1.5, because of course Square would go crazy with their titles as they do, as Square does. But yeah, this game is so incredible. Anyone that's played Automata, they know the kind of heavy story beats that the story can go through. As you go through, Yona, I met Yona. I'm just like, I will protect you with my whole life. I just met you.
That is the kind of the point.
I will protect you. And help you
I've only known Yona for 2 seconds, but I will. If anything happens to her, I will kill everybody in this room and then myself.
And then that's exactly what I was thinking. I will delete everyone in this room and then myself. Mm-hmm. But so many great characters in this game. Like Rimmer Weiss is voiced by Liam O'Brien, who is an incredible voice actor, and just the banter between like Weiss and Kainev, voiced by Laura Bailey, who they made even more vulgar in this game, which I very much appreciate.
Nice, yeah.
I just love about them. And then the two Niers that you talk with. That you play as, the characters that you see and can compare between Automata and this game. Like you meet Devola and Popola very early, like they're a party or your little town that you talk to often with and get quests from. Just hearing them sing brings me back immediately to Automata and why I love that game so much.
Really, I only have the context of Replicant, so I have
Dude, it's such a good game. Everybody should play Automata if you can. Just everybody should play it.
Connecting the two
to get to ending E. Like ending, you have to play all the way to ending E. Yeah.
Well, of course, that's a requirement with these Nier games that you got to do. I mean, again, before we got to move on, but the craziest thing about Nier is it's a spin-off of a joke ending from Drakengard.
Isn't that wild?
Right. Yeah,
it's a really funny ending.
Yeah.
Too.
Didn't Liam O'Brien, wasn't that the same actor who played Caius in Final Fantasy 13 too?
Yes,
because he was amazing. He's so good. I love him.
He has that voice down. I think he's also the voice of Infinite, I believe.
Oh right, he was.
Yeah.
Wow, talk about a really cool character versus a really lame character. But he did a great job. Liam was fantastic, all the same.
Yeah,
but he just has that dramatic voice. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And as Juan points out, I do have to play Automata at some point because there are raids in Final Fantasy XIV that acts as a pseudo sequel to Automata and builds off those. Yeah, it's canon.
It is canon.
So
all in all, play Automata and Replicant. They both complement each other's story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
Play those.
Auto Tomato is a great game. I haven't played Replicant yet though.
Nice. Well. We ended off with a bit of a banger on April 30th, where we got a sequel to a game that we've begged for years to happen. New Pokemon Snap. And you know what?
Oh my goodness.
I think it lived up to it. I really enjoyed New Pokemon Snap. It had a bit more length. It still had that great gameplay. They added more levels later on, so that was cool. It was just a nice, solid expansion of the game, and I don't know, I had fun. It's simple but fun.
Pokemon,
I
new
didn't play
Pokemon.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
new
this one
Pokemon
got away
Snap.
from me, sadly.
That game pretty much added everything that I expected to be in the game, and I was fine with that. Like the way it was, the way it is. Like obviously a lot of Pokemon are added on. It was nice that there's different versions and different levels of these same areas, so there's a lot more replayability as opposed to the original where there's only like 6 areas that you go through them and you've seen everything essentially except for like maybe 1 or 2 secret exits. But yeah, the way they did this game with the whole there's so much more artistic value in capturing certain Pokemon with groups or doing actions, and then obviously the bosses that you capture the whole it's like a boss fight, those ones. I forgot what they're called, like specifically with those kind of Pokemon.
The pictures also felt more worthwhile because you could
Lumina Pokemon.
That's it.
Lumina, yeah.
But you
They're
could
like their own little boss fights.
But the fact that you could share the photos with other people, put funny captions, do up other special things like that, it definitely emphasized the picture taking aspect much more this time.
I enjoyed
social
that
media.
aspect of it a lot. I didn't play it for very long. Also, can we stop scoring based on centering the Pokemon in the photo? We don't do that in photography. We're
Yeah.
rule thirds, baby.
Yeah. And can we also stop calling anything new like Nintendo? Can we just do Pokemon Snap 2? Why does it have to be new? It's just the dumbest naming scheme. I still don't like it.
It was
it's
a
not that
dumb,
big a deal
dumb
at the end
name.
of the day, but yeah, this one passed me by just because I'm sorry. I was not that big into the original Pokemon
How
Snap, straight up.
dare you?
I know. I didn't dislike it.
Like
I just
the
didn't
spin
like
in this
fall in
room.
love with it like everybody else. I don't know. I liked it. I have it. I have my cartridge somewhere in the closet, but I just didn't. I didn't love it like some other people seem to. But I'm glad that this game largely delivered for people.
You never printed out your pictures at Blockbuster?
I did not.
I did not do that either. But I've never been a Shutterbug, so. But I enjoy Snap. So
Kitty Kong
That's a
Fact
great
says,
game.
okay, but
Yeah.
Ash, this one has IPOM and Grookey. Well, that changes everything, of course. That
It
changes
has
everything.
Whooper and Quagsire, and
Yeah.
they're playing in the water,
There's
and my
some-
heart melted. I have a lot of Whooper pictures now.
The game could have had Whooper only, and I probably still would have bought it.
That's a good assessment.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Pokemon Whoop Pokemon Snap or something like that.
Yeah.
But on the same day, PS5 owners got to play something new with Returnal, something I've still yet to play. I want to because I've heard good things, especially now that you have like pseudo mid saves where you can actually step away. And yeah, I've heard really good things. I want to check it out, but I just haven't yet.
I really like this game and I want to like it more. And the only reason I don't is because I'm not a big roguelike guy and the difficulty is just a bit much for me, at least at the start. And I get that the difficulty is the point, and I'm not saying that you should make it easier. I would like if they had an easy mode just so I could enjoy the story and the lore, because honestly, the atmosphere in that game is fantastic. The story is interesting, the lore is interesting. I got pulled into the story right away, but I just don't love the feeling of having to retread old ground every time you die. And so I didn't get that far into the game, but it's the whole package otherwise. Like the sound design's amazing, the visuals are great, the DualSense functionality with the adaptive triggers, really good stuff. I have a lot that I love about this game, but I just couldn't quite crack the difficulty long term, and so I didn't ever finish it. But I would like to someday. It's like one of those games where if I can just kind of like Hades God mode, if it just becomes a little bit more accessible to those of us who don't like roguelites, I would go back to that game in a second and just absorb all the world and the lore and the atmosphere, because there's a lot to love there.
Yeah, it looks good. I like a good challenge. I enjoyed Hades. Got all of its endings. Didn't do anything beyond after getting the final ending. But it looked fun, but it's probably one of those games that I might be able to pick up later on when it's like $30 or less. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was able to get a discount on it too through a friend, so I didn't pay the full $70, and I think I would not have wanted to. Basically, not that it's not worth it, but if you don't really embrace that challenge and you're not a fan of roguelikes, I'm not sure it's worth spending $70 on. If you are, it's a much easier sell, I think.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, that finishes up April. So let's go ahead and get a few more of the super chats in there. Let's see, where do we leave off at? Just trying to find it. Here we go. Sonic and Mega Man 531 with a $2 super chat saying Rabbids, the Rabbids from Rayman versus the Minions from Despicable Me.
Rabbids.
We all lose.
They're crazier, right? Well, we all lose. That's true. The Rabbids are willing to go further, right? Like they're really unhinged. Whereas I feel like the Minions are, they're kind of, I don't know. I haven't really watched the Despicable Me movies, but they're kind of sweet, right? They're like they're.
I mean, they're supposedly like always follow evil leaders, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
They're
Servbots.
not
The right
inherently
answer is
bad.
Servbots.
Yeah, Servbots is the right answer.
Yeah.
So
Rabbids can recruit Mario to their side
that is true.
with a gun.
Claxon with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Saying Mario left a hole how big, and how much of how much of it did Pac-Man fill? Also, yes, Cold Steel 4. You still need to play Sky and Sky 2, Derek. Yes, I know.
This big. This
Yeah,
big. And
this
just this big was the Pac-Man hole. This big was the Mario hole. And yes, I know that's out of
Wrong
context
answer.
fodder. That's why I repeated it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, Rabbids are working with Mario, but technically so are the Minions because of the whole
Illumination.
No.
illumination.
Stop. Stop right there.
The moment we see an image with a Minion and Mario in the same image,
Yep,
I'll just
could
like, hear
happen.
Brandon
It could
passing-
happen.
I do not see it.
It could happen. Ace Breaker with a $5 super chat saying, The Legend of Heroes, here's your play order, Daniel. You play the Sky Trilogy, then the Crossbell Duology, both Zero and Azure, then the Cold Steel Tetralogy, then Trails into Reverie.
No problem.
Totally easy to
Put
follow.
it down. Only
All you
like
need is
The sad
500
thing is,
hours. You're good.
The sad thing is, I've looked into this, and I know what they're talking about, but it's still like that is a lot.
still, yeah. I have
Yeah.
a basis of the different like trilogies, duologies, all this business going on, but man, it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah,
Still,
the Wikipedia kind of helps, I think.
yeah.
Storysmith with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Saying, hearing the names of Laura Bailey and Liam O'Brien and all the stuff they've been in, and I'm over here just learning about them a month ago thanks to a Dungeon and Dragons channel called Critical Role. I've never watched Critical Role. I know that's extremely popular.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But
Mercer runs it well.
it's funny to me because I've known known of Laura Bailey since Yu Yu Hakusho. That's when I first discovered her, and she's gone so far above and beyond those humble beginnings. Like she is not even part of anime anymore, really.
Right.
So pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into May. And first big title we got was May 7th, Resident Evil Village, a game I meant to review, but just didn't get a chance. So I guess I can say that here that I really enjoyed 8. I think it is a nice expansion of what 7 established, but I do think I ended up liking 7 more just because of the creepiness factor. 8 works though, as it's almost like this weird level to level base progression as you go through, with some really standout like moments that you encounter throughout the entire game, and definitely more action vibe to it. Still great stuff, wonderful moments. I'd give it a great vibes.
I'd probably land at the same. If I were comparing 7 and 8, I would say 7 is a horror game and 8 is a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those elements get injected back into 8, but in a good way.
Yeah. It's still fun.
But yeah. Definitely a good entry, good story too, especially coming right off this. And don't play 8 without 7. I'll just say that.
Yeah. 7's, kind of necessary, and 7 was fun to me because I could see it becoming more and more of a Resident Evil game as you played. Like it felt like a Resident Evil game by the end.
I really enjoy what I played of 8. I never played the whole game, but I really enjoy what I played of it, and I've seen some other parts of the game, including the part everyone talks about, and I was like, holy shit, that's so
That, yeah,
That's my
disturbing
favorite
and
part,
weird and awful.
personally.
But it's also my favorite part from what
yeah,
I've seen. Yeah,
that
for
haunted
that reason.
house aesthetic moment section was really well done. Imagine playing that having recently had a kid.
My wife was watching me play that part, and she was not having a good time.
I don't think she would.
I bet.
Not really, no.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like it largely delivered for fans. I know that 7 leaned a little bit more into the atmospheric horror vibe, but I think 8 from all the coverage I read and from what my friends told me, they really enjoyed it, and I liked what I played of it. So, but it seemed like it kind of faded quickly from
it did
public discussion, right? It feels like it just kind of was a blip on the radar, and then kind of it came out, people really liked it, loved it, and then it just kind of faded away.
Yeah, which. I think it did well enough.
Resident Evil, isn't it?
Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah, she was the lasting part. I think because there was so much discussion beforehand that
It's so funny in hindsight when you actually play the game, because
yeah, I know. Yeah,
there.
Well,
that said, I loved Heisenberg. Heisenberg was great.
He's so good.
He's
my
really
favorite part of the
good,
game.
and he has one of the best meta moments in the in the game. I wish I could call it out, but I see people mentioning spoilers and stuff. So yeah, we're not going to go too far into it.
People were fawning over Lady D. It's all about Heisenberg.
No, Heisenberg. Heisenberg's the best. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just some of his deliveries too.
We didn't get it at the Game Awards, but one of I think my predictions for the Game Awards in our discussion was Resident Evil 8 DLC, because they did confirm that they're working on single player DLC for Village, but we haven't seen anything come of that yet.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that.
So, yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, we'll see. May the next game for May is one that I need to find time to go back to, because I do want to experience them, because I've heard so much about it. May 14th, Famicom Detective Club, The Missing Heir, and The Girl Who Stands Behind. So great that we got these localized, but
really cool stuff. Yeah. Steve and I co-reviewed these. He reviewed The Missing Heir, and I reviewed The Girl Who Stands Behind, and we did a really fun co-review where we just alternated reading our scripts, and it was a lot of fun. And I liked it. I did The Girl Who Stands Behind. It was a good, creepy, kind of horror-ish story, and in visual novel form, and I liked it. I can see why these games were as popular as they were back on the Famicom. They're not like the most mechanically complex games. They're very basic in terms of gameplay. But, the story did keep me guessing, and from what I recall, Steve had much the same thing to say about The Missing Heir. He was engaged all the way throughout, more in a story sense than a gameplay one. So these are games I think that you play for the narrative experience and for the characters. You don't play it, for the gameplay, and that's fine. But they are a duology. You want to play them together. You're really only getting half the story if you only play one of them. So if you're interested in these, I would readily recommend them to any fans of visual novels. But set aside the time to play both, I would say, because you're getting a much better experience if you play both. And I played, of course, I finished Girl Who Stands Behind, and I played most of The Missing Heir, and I like the way that they flow into one another. So, yeah, good games. Cool. I think Steve would agree with much of what I'm saying here. And it was just cool that we got them localized.
You played it in chronological order, and then Steve played it in release order.
Yes. Yeah, so The Girl Who Stands Behind is the first game in the series, even though it released second. And I think we both kind of had our own interesting takes on the story, because he played it in reverse order and I played it, as you said, Derek, in chronological order, I guess. But I just think it's cool that we got these, and I hope they someday decide to localize the third game, but I'm not going to hold my breath, because as I understand it, these didn't sell that well despite Nintendo giving it a go.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
I enjoyed playing them and reviewing them, yeah.
really appreciate that a game like this could have this kind of love put into it this many years after the original had been released. And I finally learned who Ayumi Tachibana is from the Smash
Right.
Brothers Melee
Oh, yeah.
Trophy all those years ago. I
That's
finally
what got me
some
excited.
context
It's
for
like,
that.
hey, this character I saw back in Melee actually get this
Yeah.
played the game. That's exciting.
And I still
a
think
lot
she would have
different
worked
now.
as a Smash
Yeah.
character because she's described as being skilled in wielding naginatas. We don't have a naginata wielder in Smash.
Mhm.
Let her be that. I think
Seriously.
that, like, better her than another Fire Emblem character, in my opinion. I think it'd be really neat
Oh,
to
don't
have
go
her.
there.
Yeah.
I went there. It is.
I've
I've already
thought about
gone
it.
there.
Sakura did think about having someone
You
like
did.
Ayumi in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, as Juan Delgado mentions in our patron chat, she was planned to be playable, I think, back in the Melee days, right? Was it-
Maybe.
was the Melee?
Yeah,
think
I would
so.
assume so, since that's like that seemed like the right time when that game was still kind of
Mhm.
in the Japanese public space.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It would have
Right.
just become retro around then, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
so.
And as Rob X points out, my bad, Byleth, I guess technically one of her legendary weapons is a Naginata, correct? So I guess
Correct, but-
technically
I guess. I mean,
kinda
Aaron
sorta
Bar.
have one.
It's
Aaron Bar is kind of more of a lance still, so I don't
Okay,
know.
that's kind of what I thought. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
The other game that come out on May 14th, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I did not pick this up. Did
I
any of
wanted
us?
to. No, only because I didn't have the 100 hours necessary to replay the whole trilogy again. But as I've said before, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. I love the original trilogy, not Andromeda so much, from what I played of it. But this is one of those things where if I had a pocket dimension to retreat into, I would have replayed the entire trilogy and done different choices and stuff. But when was I going to have the time to play Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 again this year? Spoiler, I
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah.
Good point. Well,
But I love Mass Effect, and it's one of those I'd love to go back to it and play Legendary Edition someday. We'll see.
yeah, could happen. You never know.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and continue on into May 21st, where we got two interesting games. I don't have much to say about the first one. I really don't have much to say about either of them.
Oh yeah.
What did we
no,
miss?
Go ahead. Go for it. No, nothing. My bad. I misheard you. Go for it.
Okay. Knockout City, which I saw a few people play, and they said it's better than you thought, but I don't hear anybody talk about it at all anymore.
It's a good game.
I actually really like this game. It's a lot of it kind of gives me that same rush that Rocket League still does. I love
Yeah.
Rocket League. And Knockout
I see
City is
that's
kind
accurate.
of similar in that I think I like Rocket League more. Actually, I know I like Rocket League more. But when you get the right set of friends together in a squad and you're playing together, it feels great. And my introduction to this game was actually an Easy Allies stream where I kind of learned the ropes, and I had a lot of fun with them. And I played it for a little while with some of my buddies here in LA and online, and we liked it. But we went back to Fall Guys. Like we mostly played Fall Guys, tried Knockout City for a while, then ultimately went back to Fall Guys. But I do like this game.
That's good. Yeah, like I said, I heard good things. I just never got the chance to try it out myself. But yeah, it looked fun.
It has a very Jet Set Radio-esque kind of vibe to it, which is always a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the same day, Miitopia came out. Did anybody bother to pick that up?
No, I played the
Not.
demo. I didn't feel the need to really.
I downloaded a bunch of the edited Miis because it has an incredible vector editor in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make your
Sure.
Miis look like whatever.
The Mii
Super
Maker
advanced.
in there needs to be brought to the main Switch because my God, that thing is amazing.
You can make anything really.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best part about Miitopia is that character creator. As a game, it's fine. I think it's mainly the same as the original, just with horses and the better maker. That's about it. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This does make me hope, though, that maybe they'll sometime or someday bring Tomodachi Life back because I missed that game. I loved it on 3DS.
Make a
had
new
blast
one.
with it. Make a new one, or
It's
even
a
just port the original to
fantastic-
Switch, like with what happened with Miitopia. But bring Tomodachi Life back. It was such a cool idea, and if they do that, I think I would be more into that than I was Miitopia being re-released on
One of the
Switch.
funniest games I've ever
So-
played.
Fantastically weird.
It is wild to say the least.
Yeah.
Next up is May 25th, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. Did not get the chance to play this. I was curious.
How it came out.
But I also heard it's not much of a remaster.
It's HD, and that's pretty much what they promise. It's an
it is
HD remaster.
Very much
Here's the
of
game
its
again.
time.
Right. That's what folks are saying in our patron chat as well. Juan says an oof remaster. Rob says it's a janky PS2 game. So yeah, I didn't play this myself. I know there's a lot of hype around it, because of Shin Megami Tensei, and any SMT release here is pretty exciting, but it just kind of faded pretty quickly after it released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a good, I think it ties in a bit because the main character is a super boss, some kind of boss. I'm pretty sure a super boss in SMT5. So has that connection, I guess.
Hey, well, Ukulele Sky was a big fan of it, saying really fantastic game, liked it more than 5.
Wow.
There you go.
I've heard good things.
Right.
I've not heard bad things about it. It's very of its time, and I think that's a big issue.
Sure.
And
You
and
have to go in.
this remaster didn't really attempt to bridge the gap, kind of like how like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 does things to make things a little quicker and easier for modern RPG players.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. Otherwise, not too much to say on it, other than the fact that we've played it a few times on, all of us have played a little bit. Super Bomberman are online. Surprisingly good.
It's just surprisingly solid. And it's actually it's crossplay, and the online is great. We've done several executive producer patron streams now with this game, and we're all playing on different platforms, including Switch, and it plays really well. And has 64 players, I think. Max is what it is, and it's a really well done online version of Bomberman, and that's just nice to know that Konami's capable of delivering that, right? Mm-hmm. Konami, it's who knows what they're able to do these days or not, because they're such a shadow of their former selves, but they have at least proven they can still deliver a damn good multiplayer online Bomberman game, and it's great, and it's free to play.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah,
good stuff.
I really, really like it, and anybody who has any interest in Bomberman whatsoever, pick it up, because it's just a really solid version of Bomberman.
Free to play, and just solid.
Bit of a love,
plus you can play as
love for other character.
Yeah,
you're about to say just a lot of love for other Konami properties like Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania. God, you could play as Vic Viper, Bomber,
they
Princess Tomato. Princess Tomato.
They just announced today that for season 3 they're bringing in the protagonist of Suikoden 2 protagonist Bomber.
It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So, you play the Bean Bomber.
Yeah,
it's a crossover with Fall Guys.
Well, that's true. There's a crossover with Fall Guys, and I guess it's both really cool and really frustrating in equal measure, because it's like clearly Konami remembered that they have all these incredible IPs they're sitting on, but they're only willing to trot them out as like cameos in Bomberman, right? Instead of actually do something with them that isn't like, what was it, Contra Rogue Core? Oh God. But God, I hate that Konami is sitting on this treasure trove of beloved gaming IP, but they're just not doing that much with it other than Bomberman, which turned out to be great. So I don't know. I really hope, please let 2022 be the year that we finally hear something concrete about the eternal rumors of Silent Hill games being in development. Please let those be real. Come on.
Yeah. Real quick before we end this off, not too much to say about it because I've definitely not played it, but I'm curious if Daniel played it. World's End Club on May 28th from the creators of Danganronpa.
Yeah, this came out while I was going through that series, and I was like, "This is an interesting look at something else that these creators have made." I have not played it yet. I do want to try at least give it a shot and see what I think about it. But that'll be something I update you guys on whenever I get to that one. But it does look interesting, that's for sure.
Did Uchikoshi write this one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
he did. Oh,
does it?
He wrote
say?
The Somnium Files, so
yeah.
That's another one.
Right, yeah, Uchikoshi wrote it.
So definitely
that's good enough for me.
I didn't hear as much about it. I heard I don't think it was.
It kind of went under
received quite
radar.
as well as Danganronpa. But I don't know. I don't think it's a visual novel, so I think that might be the other thing. Is it makes it a little different.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, May was also the month that the Epic Games versus Apple trial kicked off.
Oh yeah, that insanity.
Well. Yeah. Yeah.
I wiped it from my brain.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's back in there now.
Oops.
God damn it.
All right. Well, before we move on to June and finish off this, the first half of this look back at 2021, Kane Woolley with $5 New Zealand dollars. Thank you so much for that. Saying Bomberman was pretty good, but know what's better? Good Vibes Gaming. Happy holidays, friends. Take some time. Try to take some time to play it. It Takes Two over the break. No promises.
had-
What
Thank you
break?
very
If
much.
I had someone to play It Takes Two with, I would do so. But that's gonna
Hey,
have
It's
to
almost
wait
like you
till
have
Monday.
a
do, and it's
partner
so
at
hard
Good
for me
Vibes
to-
Arcade.
That's true.
Well, he's already.
Playing through it with my wife.
I have to
Ouch.
ask permission apparently, but I'm not
Daniel,
Brandon's wife.
Brandon
Yeah.
chose his wife over you, man. How do
Yeah,
you feel
that's-
about that?
How dare he?
That's
yeah, right.
rough. All
Thank you
right.
very much, Kane.
Yeah,
That's,
thank you so
we're
much.
officially better than
Thank you.
Bomberman, apparently. That's amazing. I don't know how that happened, but thank you.
I'll take
very
it.
much.
Well, let's go ahead and move into June. And I'd say the first big release of June was June 9th, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. None of us have played it, I'm pretty sure, other than Steve. But Steve
That's the game.
seemed to enjoy it, but I
wish
also
Steve was
don't
here to
know
talk
if
about
he hasn't talked about it in a while.
He said he kind of dropped it. He said he played it nonstop. I think I asked him about this recently. I don't know if it was during our Game Awards stream, maybe, but he mentioned that he had played it nonstop when it first came out. He's a big PSO fan, but that he has kind of dropped it more recently because of a lack of, I guess,
Content.
post-launch updates.
Yeah.
And so he still likes it, but it's not pulling him back in actively necessarily.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. But then, holy crap! Now it's the June is when they just unleashed on us.
Oh yeah.
June 10th, Chicory: A Colorful Tale. Anybody play that? Because that has been getting a lot of good buzz. It only just now got on the Switch, but I heard a lot of good things.
I really want to play Chicory because I've heard really good things as well. And this is just one of those games that is, a higher priority for me in terms of games I didn't get to play but would like to go back and try. I've heard nothing but great things and lots of love for this game all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good storytelling as well is one of the other things I've heard a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, and apparently same composer as Celeste. According to Kitty
Lena
Gone
Rain
Fast.
did the music for
Lena
Chicory,
Rain.
which that
Fantastic
alone
composer.
is exciting.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Same day, we also got Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which I am ashamed to say I've played a little bit of Yuffie Story. I've still not beaten it.
It's so good, man. It's not even that long. You gotta.
I
go
know.
Play it. It's
Yeah.
6 or
I
7
got
hours.
caught up
You gotta go
playing
play it.
what is it called? The mini game.
Oh,
Or Condor?
Fort Condor.
Fort Condor.
I did
right,
all the Fort Condor stuff and moved on and then got called away to other things. Oh, right. I know why, because the next game came out.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
one of the
probably
other
why.
games came out we were going to talk about. But yeah, that's why. Plus, I wanted to
Yeah,
play it with Amy. We just didn't get a chance to sit down and both watch it. So,
They
God,
did a great job with the Yuffie episode, and playing as her is she just like the other characters in the base game. She feels like a
she's
completely
fun.
unique playable character. She's so fun. They did a great job with the soundtrack. No surprise there, but not just the Yuffie episode, but just as an update to as a PS5 update to the original game. This is one of the best next gen updates on PS5, in my opinion. You can play it in both performance mode and visual fidelity mode at 4K. But man, seeing this game in 60 FPS, it's a feast for the eyes throughout.
Yeah.
And it just underscored how much I love this game. FF7 Remake was my game of the year in 2020. I just loved it just as much here in 2021, but it looks even better. And Square really did a great job with this re-release, straight up.
Yeah, this was actually the first game I played on my PS5 was jumping into
nice.
Intergrade. And that whole rigmarole process of getting the freaking save from Final Fantasy VII from my PS4 to the PS5. Don't want to think about that.
I still need to go back and do that so I can actually fight Vice, because what I thought was all my different save files would go over, but no, I didn't realize until later that it was all replaced in the last one. So you have to upload it, download it, upload it, download it. You can't just upload all of them and then download all of them. And I didn't realize that. So I don't have my most recent play file on there, so I can easily get back to Vice in the main game. So Ugh.
Spider-Man had the same dumb system for transferring
Oh,
saves.
Oh man.
It's
Ah,
unfortunate.
it was a really
but
silly system they went with. Yeah.
that was a
Mhm.
whole process. But thankfully, just playing Integrate itself was a wonderful experience all around. Just its visuals, its music, the characterization. Yuffie and Sonan were great characters together, bouncing off one another. Susie Young killed it as Yuffie, just as jumping in and really capturing the character that you feel like you knew from other iterations and as well as the original Final Fantasy VII. And just to see that and just to see what else was expanded upon in the ending. It was just such a great like
Hmm.
culmination, and it gets you really hyped up for what comes up for part two of Final Fantasy VII
I
remake.
don't want to wait.
I don't want to wait there.
Yeah, I
I
know. I don't
can't
want to
really
wait
blame
either.
you.
It's going to be a while before we see part two, but there are some great teases for what we might see when we finally do get part two
Mhm.
Yeah,
as a thing. So
needed
yeah,
needed
great release all around.
need to get to it. Really do. Um, Also June 10th. Not a whole lot to say about this because I didn't pick it up, and I didn't hear about anybody really picking this up.
Me
Ninja
neither.
Gaiden Master Collection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it got a lot of pre-release buzz, but yeah, I didn't really hear about a lot of people picking this up either.
I
And
mean, they're good classic old games, but I just haven't gone to them, so it's just eh.
it's funny when we talk about them as classic old games because I've said many times before I'm a fan of the 8-bit trilogy, the really
Right.
classic Ninja Gaiden games. I never really got into the 3D ones as much.
I
Just not
only
my
played the
flavor.
original, and it did kick my butt in the day, back in
Ah,
the day. So it'd be interesting to go back to it and see how I hold up nowadays. But it's all right. Um,
yeah.
and then the day after, June 11th, that's three more games. First up,
Jeez,
Game Builder
whammy.
Garage, which yeah, Nintendo not having an easy way to look at other people's stuff, that died quick.
Yeah, I think that was Steve's main
Yeah.
complaint too. He reviewed it and primarily covered it for us, and he seemed to enjoy it quite a bit. And I think he liked playing it with his daughter, if I remember correctly. But that lack of discoverability is really what I believe he said kind of hurt it for him as well. And I can see why. What's the point?
Yeah.
Almost
The
right.
the actual teaching software in Game Builder Garage is really good,
Hmm.
but like you said, without that discoverability, in a lot of ways, it actually hampers learning
Mm-hmm. Because you
because
don't get
Yeah.
you can't
feedback.
see what other people are doing. Yeah,
Right.
and that.
Hmm.
So, don't know why
Yeah.
they. Don't know why.
Yeah, it seems a little
I
dumb.
probably would have picked it up if there was more discoverability because I'm not the building type. I don't really want to make my own games, but I'd sure love to try out what other people create.
Yeah,
I think
that's
really
where it has
cool.
the value for people like me and Ash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's a shame.
reminds me of a situation with Mario Maker, except that one was done very well as far as
Right.
at least better
Yeah.
as far as finding like popular creations and all that. But yeah,
Unless you're
that's
playing on 3DS.
oh boy,
Yeah.
yeah, that's for
Oh,
sure.
jeez, that whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. But another game that got a lot of buzz, and I unfortunately did not get the chance to play it, but it looks gorgeous. Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, I didn't get to play it.
Any of us play it?
Man, I played through the demo. The demo was really fun. I got a good feel for the characters because I played Guilty Gear way back when like on the PS2 when Accent Core Plus was a thing, and then I got into Blaze Blue and other games by Arc System Works. So I wanted to get into this one. That's around the time my PS5 died.
Oh no.
Oh, right.
And then I was
Uh,
like, well, what am I gonna do? So yeah, I was able to, yeah, I played through, God, what was it? Yeah, I played through Integrate. I was gonna get Guilty Gear after I finished Integrate, and then not long after that happened, and so once I got it back, I didn't really get a chance to get back into it. So that was unfortunate. But man, Arc System Works makes some gorgeous visuals with these things now,
Dear
don't they?
God, do they? It just keeps
They
seeming to
sure
get
do.
better and better. It
Yeah.
is insane. I've only ever played Blaze Blue. I've never touched Guilty Gear, but Strive makes me look at it and be like, same. I mean, same with DNF Duel and that whole thing. That I missed that beta, but God, they make their games look good.
Oh yeah. So much energy to their animations and just the visuals themselves. Oh, I don't know. That makes you want to go back just to experience that itself. Because
Yeah,
they're still adding characters and everything.
That's
and
true.
even like classic characters from the older Guilty Gear games. Maybe one day.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. I'd like to have the time to like really get into and learn these games, but I just don't. But I love watching them visually, and I love watching high level play in general in fighting games. But these are so flashy that I just really they're visually a splendor to watch when you watch people who really know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. I'm one of those nutcases that loves fighting game stories, and I was able to follow along with Blaze Blue's story 1 and 2. I never played the other ones after that, but I hear Guilty Gear is just incredibly just wild. Where like the main antagonist for like 5 or 6 games is just referred to as that man.
Yeah, and as Christmas Nathan the VA points out in our patron chat, also Guilty Gear Strive got snubbed hard for best soundtrack at the Game Awards.
It did.
And if you're saying it got snubbed, even though Nier Replicant won, then that's hugely kind words to Guilty Gear, because I haven't heard the soundtrack, but I have heard what other people say what you're saying, Nathan, which is that the soundtrack is amazing. It sounds like you agree, Daniel.
Well, they're different. They're definitely different, very different soundtracks for different people. But at least being nominated, that would have been a good nod to the work that they do, because that series always has like the really wild, like hard rock soundtracks. If you play Blaze Blue, it's pretty much the same kind of deal. But yeah, I still think Nier Replicant, Keiichi Okabe still deserves that. So
Sure,
yeah, to each their own.
And then
I thought Bravely Default 2 got snubbed personally. That was my snub.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, on June 11th, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Woo!
Which
hell yeah,
I think all of us enjoyed.
I adore this game to death. It's going to be coming up a lot for me in our Game of the Year discussions. So, I'll just preface that. Expect Ratchet and Clank from me, for it to come up for me, because I thought this game was incredible. And I would love to go back and play it. I replayed a little bit of it in the 40 FPS mode they released like right as I finished the game, and God, man, visually this game blows my mind. And even my wife was watching me play it, and she was impressed too. Like she'll pay attention to a lot of the games I play just out of interest, but for this one, she was like, "These visuals are unbelievable. Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "I know, right?" And she's like, "None of you deserve these incredible game developers. All the hard work they do for you and all the shit they get put through. You guys don't deserve that." I'm like, "Hey, that's not us. Don't rope us in with we appreciate our developers, man. We know how hard they work, and this game, what an achievement, man. What a game."
I mean, what impressed me is the fact that it hooked you in, considering you only played Ratchet and Clank 2016 a little bit before this came out. And I've been a diehard fan of the wool of the Ratchet and Clank series since the beginning. And it lives up to it. It's the best in the series, in my opinion. It is just utterly fantastic. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they do more.
Yeah, and it introduced one of the year's best new characters in any game, period. 2, actually. Not even just, I wouldn't say just Rivet. I'd say Rivet and Kit.
Yeah.
Both are 2 of the best, most charming new characters introduced to games this year. Yeah, I love them both.
Jennifer Hale killed it as Rivet. That's
she did.
So fantastic to hear her voice again in games.
I really hope that by this time next year, we're talking about how awesome the standalone Rivet and Kit, post-launch adventure was, because I want that so badly. Their dynamic was just so lovable and so interesting, and man, what a game! What a game!
It really says a lot when you have 2 people who are on both ends of the spectrum. One that recently got into Ratchet and Clank, and the other one who's been a fan for a very long time, saying pretty much the same high praise for that game. Really says a lot. And yeah, the game deserved a little more love at the Game Awards, but
it really did. But it's about how I expected. So
yeah,
I just
more or less.
I just hope they're not one shots. I literally cannot imagine another Ratchet and Clank game now without Rivet and Kit.
Oh no, they have legacy characters like crazy. Like some of them are one shots, but most characters come back in some form. Like you don't need to worry about you don't need to worry about that with Ratchet and Clank. That is one thing I can say as a longtime fan. You're fine. You will get what you want.
I want them playable. I want them to continue being playable. Like I want to. Yeah.
After the fan response, God, yeah, it'll still be. Yeah. You'll be fine. Did you play it, Brandon?
I have not. I have never actually played a Ratchet and Clank game.
Wow.
I've played a little bit, I guess, of the remake, but it didn't really grip me.
Mhm.
So I want to go back and play the originals instead.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I think they're of their time, but I think they still hold up pretty well. So yeah. Well, let's fast forward a little bit. Actually, this is on point, so I'll just read it now. Nathan Eisler with a $5 super chat saying, "My heart belongs to the PS2 Ratchets, but Rift Apart is my second favorite of the year after a certain mind-bending platformer that came out later." Yeah, we'll get to that. Well, next time.
Yeah.
Did any of us play June 22nd's release, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX?
Very briefly. And I was not a fan. It didn't feel like it smoothed over enough of the original's
rough edges,
polish issues to make me really want to play it. I was curious about it, but it just didn't quite get there for me in terms of quality of life updates.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
The next up is June 24th, I believe. Yes,
Yeah.
Legend of Mana, which I
this
didn't
was
know.
a thing that happened.
Man, what is with we get these collection? We got a collection of Mana, and then we got Legend of Mana. We got a collection of Saga, and then we got Saga Frontier. We need more
Right.
Square collections with PS1 remasters, apparently.
Seriously. And while I didn't play this myself, I watched a lot of coverage on it, and it seems as though Square Enix did a really, really elegant glow-up job on Legend of Mana. And I was listening to the remastered, rearranged soundtrack on YouTube until the channel I was listening to it on got taken down. But Yoko Shimomura, predictably, not surprisingly, killed it with this remastered soundtrack. And those of you who've already played Legend of Mana know it already had one of the best soundtracks from the PS1 era. It is one of the very best. And it's just hearing it in rearranged form has been wonderful. And if I could vote for, remaster soundtracks for like the best music of the year, this would be in the running because she did such a great job with it. But what I've seen of it visually, it got a great glow up too. And gameplay wise, Legend of Mana has never been my favorite Mana game, not even close to it, but it's still a good game. And from what I've seen of how the remaster turned out, if you have any interest in the Mana series and haven't played Legend, I think this is a pretty good bet in terms of how to play it. You can switch between the original and remastered soundtracks. There's a lot of quality of life updates. Everything I've seen about this indicates to me that they did a really good job with this remaster.
That's awesome. Eventually, I'll hopefully pick it up. I still got to play Trials of Mana and Secret of Mana.
Right.
I only actually played Final Fantasy Adventure. So, whoops.
Yeah.
Next up, June 25th, Mario Golf Super Rush. What do we think of this one?
Hey.
I'm kind of over Mario Golf. It's in general. I'm just not a big golf guy, right? I played a lot of Mario Golf 64 with my dad because he loves golf, and I have really good memories of doing that. But beyond that, it's just speed golf was cool, and I tried it a couple of times, but I think I had my fill, and I just don't really need to play this anymore. I just kind of got my fill of it.
I think my friend Joe and I played Super Rush on launch night for like 8 straight hours.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that is a lot of Mario Golf.
We just kept playing multiplayer because if you've got 2 people, it lets you do simultaneous golf. So you don't have to do speed golf. You can literally just, play the game at the same time without having to wait to take turns. And we found that to be really enjoyable. So we were just having conversations and hitting golf balls, and we did that for an entire evening.
We should have played golf together while I was over there. I didn't even think about that.
Right? We totally.
I still haven't played the new courses.
I still haven't played a Shy Guy.
They have supported this game pretty well afterwards, and getting new golfers in there, some more courses. It's definitely gotten expanded. It feels more fleshed out since its release in June.
It's got a nice amount of content in it, I think. At this point, is in terms of the character roster and just the amount of courses that you get, because there are a lot. And plus, there's the story mode, which they handle a lot better than they did with Mario Tennis Aces. It's still not like groundbreaking or anything. It's nothing like the Game Boy games, but it is a nicer experience.
Yeah. That's
Ukulele Sky makes a good point though, saying I still miss when Mario spin-offs were less sanitized. I guess that's a way to put it. And I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of a weird concept, but I know what you mean. They do feel safe and sanitized in a way that previous Mario spin-off games necessarily didn't. And maybe that's nostalgia glasses talking, but it's kind of how I felt about how like Mario Kart Wii felt compared to other prior Mario Kart sequels. It just felt very sanitized and safe.
They didn't.
I know what you mean.
It feels more traditional, like a more traditional sports game rather than a Mario sports game with some of the wacky elements. And I feel like Super Rush and the latest Mario Tennis Aces added that, have elements of that, but not quite to the degree that they used to. That said, I've never really played a ton of Mario sports games. I know Amy was super excited for Mario Golf. She got a kick out of it, but I don't know. I've never really sat down to play these types of games.
As someone who's played a lot of Toadstool Tour on Game Boy on GameCube, I don't know. I think Super Rush is right about level with where that game was in terms of its Mario-ness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you could probably say different for like Mario Tennis Aces. I would agree that it probably is more sanitized, but no, Super Rush I think is right around what I would have wanted from a golf game. Yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, cool. Well, do we have anything to say about the June 25th game, the other June 25th game, Scarlet Nexus, which actually got some good word of mouth once it released, but I didn't get the chance to check it out. But it seemed pretty good from what I heard.
This is a game I want to play.
Yeah.
Like this is a game that at some point I do want to try this out. I hear some comparisons to like the Tales series as well. So this is something that I wanted to try and like at least get into. Very anime, which is fine with me. Yep. I'll get into my anime games as well.
Didn't it just have an anime announced?
It might have.
I think so. I'm not surprised. It's a Bandai Namco game, I believe. So an anime adaptation is usually in the works when that happens.
I know Steve apparently.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know Steve really liked it, and for those of you wondering, I know I keep saying Steve really liked this and that. He should hopefully be here on Wednesday for part 2 of our wrap up. We think he'll be here, so hopefully you get to hear straight from his mouth next time. But from what I remember, Steve did like Scarlet Nexus and was pretty hype about it, really all the way up to release and a little bit past it. I played the demo and kind of bounced off it. I'm not gonna lie, not to the point where I'm like, this isn't for me for sure. I don't want to play this ever again. But I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, given the overt anime aesthetic. And you know me, I love my anime and my anime games. But yeah, I just kind of bounced off it. But this is kind of something I think I'd like to go back and revisit and give a second try. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mind frame for it when I sat down to play it, the demo at least, because it seems like something I would enjoy. So I'm definitely still intrigued by it, even though I didn't really enjoy the demo that much.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people in the chat are saying, Daniel, that there was some Tales developers on the staff, so some crossover there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Before we wrap up though, Derek, 2 things happened on June 29th that we might want to mention really quickly.
All right, what was that?
Right at the very end of the month. The first one is that Sony acquired Housemarque following Returnal's overwhelming success. So yeah, congrats to Housemarque for being acquired by Sony. They are now an internal Sony developer, so that happened. But also, more relevant to our own interests, is that is the day that Fighters Pass 11 came out, featuring Kazuya Mishima from the Tekken series. And so that happened. He came with the Mishima Dojo stage, like 50 Tekken songs from across the series, really showcasing, both really good old school Tekken music and new school, more recent Tekken music. And just a really solid release all around. Easily, personally, my worst fighting game character in Smash. Mm-hmm. I'm best with Terry. Okay-ish with Ryu and Ken. Not very good with Kazuya. But he's fun to play. And it's cool that Bandai Namco, they shouldered so much of the burden, the development work on Smash Ultimate. It's cool that they got another character that, aside from Pac-Man. So Kazuya was a thing. Did you guys have any particular thoughts about Kazuya when he released?
It's funny that you mentioned Kazuya, because last night I was doing one thing I like to just play random CPU matches in Squad Strike, because you can't play Squad Strike online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love Squad Strike, but you can't play it online, so that's how I get my fix. and I pulled Kazuya as one of my 3, and I realized I forgot he was in the game.
Oh no!
Yeah, that sounds
No.
about right.
Poor Kazuya. What did he
We
do?
all have
What
that
did Tekken
character
do?
or two that we forget is in Smash. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot, to be fair.
Right. And as the Fought54 points out, the all-important yodel music from Tekken 6 was in the game, and at least in their case has them baffled. But it was so important that they got that song into the game. And just another example of just an embarrassment of riches for how much the Fighters Pass was or how much individual characters are. You get, like Terry, so many music tracks in addition to the character and stage. Just it was an embarrassment of riches for Tekken music fans that day, for sure.
Oh yeah, I don't really play, or probably one of my least played DLC characters is Kazuya, but definitely appreciative that with his induction into Smash Brothers, I finally got some music from one of my favorite composers ever, Goshina, in this game, Smash Brothers Ultimate, which was really a great thing, a great feeling for me to see, and that's just a little niche thing from me that I celebrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I play Steve less than Kazuya, but I will say it's hard to forget that Steve's in the game.
Oh, Steve has a presence.
I remember Steve just because I watch a lot of competitive play, and Steve plays doing some wacky shit with that character now.
No, I'm sure.
Absolutely wacky. Twilord makes a good point in our YouTube chat. Min Min should be included. I think of the fighting game reps as being Ryu, Ken, Terry, and Kazuya, but Min Min is from a fighting game.
That's true.
And reps her own fighting games mechanics in Smash. Mm-hmm. So she should be part of that conversation. She's just a little less of a traditional fighting game character, but she totally counts. Yeah.
Good point. But that wraps up the first half of 2021 and all the games released. Pretty good set, I'd say. Some definitely, I mean, there's a lot of games in there, like looking back at it, it's like, dang it, I need to play that. And I have no idea when. That is.
Year and It Takes Two are at the top of my list for me personally.
Yeah.
It's a good year of games.
Yeah, it is.
It's so funny. Juan mentioned we're not going to talk about E3's E3 happened, I guess. It happened in June, but nobody paid attention to it.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Kind of a thing. Yeah. So E3 happened as an online event, but it kind of went over like a big wet fart. So not
pretty much.
We looked at E3.
We did.
Looked.
We did.
Yeah.
Give it a look.
We registered for it technically, but it didn't really matter.
Yeah, not a whole lot of stuff
going on this year. Yeah.
June also gave us at the very end of June also gave us Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, which is, I would say, is a great game. I quite enjoy psychological horror a lot more than just like blood and gore kind of horror, and I stand by that. It's a good game.
Yep. There you go. Yeah. With that, I believe we have wrapped up the episode, and that was a beefy one.
Super chats, though.
Was there a few more super chats? I'm so sorry. Did I miss those? I did miss those. Late Night Sprites with a $2 super chat saying 2021, the year there was no Just Dance on the Wii. That is true.
Finally. I remember when they kept it on Wii for longer than Wii U. It was on Wii after it was on Wii U, which is just the saddest thing. But yeah.
And then Fisto with a $4.99 donation. Thank you so much. Saying, I have to say, I am loving the long episode today. Such a cozy feeling to hang out with all of you for an extended amount of time before Christmas. Cheers. Yeah, we were dedicated to try to get through these this first half as long as it took.
And
we'll be doing the second half on Wednesday.
Second half is going to be beefy.
Yep, it definitely feels like it's going to be beefy. So that'll be something.
That's the expensive half.
That'll be another.
Yeah, it is. Jeez.
And my wallet died.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it'll be another beefy episode on Wednesday as we discuss the second half of the year. In preparation for Friday, of course, which is Christmas Eve, and we're not going to have an episode on that day.
No.
People are going to be with their families. We're going to be with our families, getting ready for the holidays.
I'm going to be with family by Wednesday. I'm traveling. I don't know. I'm going to try to be there for Wednesday. We'll see if I can make it, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
As I said, Steve might be able to make it on Wednesday. We hope he can. We're crossing our fingers. He's still, of course, getting situated with his new, situation, his new place, but he'll be back soon. Don't worry, he will be back.
Yep. So, yeah, with that, I believe that covers all the major releases from the first half of 2021. Thank you all so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. And of course, a big thank you to all of our patrons, big and small. You really don't know how much it means to us that you support us. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. They
and
couldn't do
of
it without
course,
you.
nope, could not do it without you. And of course, the show wouldn't even happen without all of our producers. So thank you all for all of your support, for making this show happen, for joining us for each of these 3 days a week so we can talk about basically whatever we want. That's a good feeling. And of course, an extra special thank you to all of our executive producers and above. It really means the world, especially in these holiday times. But thank you going to Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Fangs, Dan Antwistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman 23, Adam O'Sullivan, Octo Puppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Romsky 113, Critter XD, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotek, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran 127, Black King, Pagrama, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Shomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orm M, Becca, Roxacat, Killamox, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, Kenneth Lee Stingle, Jessica Toad, Deaneth, Coda, Sci-Fi Lullabies, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Justin Matthews, Hoobie, Too Much Spaghetti, Mega Conrad, Ascaron 809, Rioner, Ditto M, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, Nathan Steele, Spicy Pandotter, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Synchro Lord, Rosa Bowling, hi Steve's mom, Kotar Peck, Scuff 196, Kane Woolley, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Dinner Sonic, Derek, Jeff Ed, Stag Nasty, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Screamo Shaman, Mason Riley, Keel, Santi the Person, Brendan Hess, Hustle Bun, Noah Fitterer, Rizemon, Calvin Atkinson, Hinaru77, Brooke Obscura, and Tarvald. Thank you all so much for all of your continued support and just being here for us. Happy holidays to you all. And remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can get access to our exclusive post show and ad-free content for as little as $5 a month. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. Until next time, good night and good vibes. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Till we meet again.
See ya.